Hey guys, Robert 3D Printscape. So today I'm going to show you how to do a couple things with the SonicPad. We're going to cover adding an additional printer. So I add one additional printer here, but you can use the same process to add multiple. And then I'm also going to show you how to connect to the web user interface so you can control it from your computer, and then go over some of the basics of that web interface. I'm going to try to keep the video short and to the point, but if you guys have any questions about what I covered or would like to see any other videos, go ahead and leave a comment below or join us on Discord. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Hitting that like button lets YouTube know that you liked the video, and it helps circulate it around more to get more subscribers and help the channel grow. Alright, to add another device to be controlled to your SonicPad, just go up to Pick Printer here, and then go ahead and add new device. Then you can select a port. So the first printer we had on USB 1, and now we can choose 2, 3, or 4, and it shows you where the schematics are. So in this case, I'll go ahead and connect to port 3, which is in the back right above the one for the camera. Now we want to go ahead and select the printer. The second one I'm connecting is the Ender 3 Pro with a 422 board. So let's look for that. And then I do have a CR Touch, so I'm going to go ahead and select the one with the ABL. And next. Alright, so now we've got to flash the firmware, so we need to enter a USB drive with an SD card on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. Alright, so that's connected. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit flash the firmware. Alright, we got to take this out and put it in the printer. So here I have my second printer, so I'm just going to put the SD card in. Then hit next step. Alright, now it's saying to power on the printer. So let's go ahead and hit next. Now we need to connect our USB cable to port 3. And it's going to try to connect. And now it shows that we successfully connected. And now it's going to want to walk through the self-test. So hit next. Take out our SD card. Alright, so let's go ahead and just run through the self-test really quick. Next, we should hear our fans kick on, which I heard that one. Then the other one's kicked on. Alright, this is saying to make sure that all the screws are all the way tight. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. Okay, with that done, we'll go ahead and hit next. Okay, so here it's going to show you how to do your Z offset or your probe calibration. So you need something like the little Creality card that I've used before for my leveling. And then we're going to lower it so that it slides right under the nozzle. So it's going to lower this a bit. Alright, so we do half. Alright, that feels pretty good. We can always go back in and make adjustments before, but that's a really clean and easy way to set your Z offset. So I came to negative 1.12 millimeters. Alright, now this is going to go through manually leveling the bed, so you go to each one of the positions like we did before, and just make sure that the card slides evenly with it. So we'll just go to position 1. And when that's done, just go ahead and hit next. And again, I'm doing this really fast, so my bed's probably not going to be very level, but I'm just showing you the process. Alright, so temperature setup here. We want to do temperature setup to get everything warmed up, so it'll be all right. Now that it's up to the temperature, it'll let us kick off the calibration. So it's going to hit start calibration. It's going to go through and hit all the points. As you can see, it's making a 5x5 grid. So I'll go ahead and speed it up so you don't have to watch all of it. Alright, that's done, and it gives you a diagram of how level or unlevel the bed is. As you can see, it is not very level, which I expected, just because it did that so quickly. But if you're not very level here, I would recommend going back through and doing the manual level again, and then redoing the mesh, because this is just going to end badly. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to go ahead and hit next step. And now we can go back over here. Alright, now we have our normal interface that you would expect from the SonicPad, and we can go back and forth between the printers. So here's the Ender 3 Pro. If I go back over to the V2, we can do access device, and we can go back over there. And then if you're questioning which printer you're controlling at the time, you'll see your printer name right here. So you should know exactly which one that is and be able to go between it. I want to kick off a test print really quick, just more of a ghost print or air print, to see if it continues printing for you guys when I go over to the other printer, because that's one question that I had that I want to get clarification on. I'm pretty sure what it's going to end up doing is it will just continue printing. When you go on the other device, then you can do whatever between the printers and go back and forth between them. But I had a question in the community about that, so I just wanted to get a definitive answer there. I was just waiting for this to kick something off. Like I said, I don't have any filament attached, so it's not actually going to print anything, but it will at least tell us that it is attempting to print and continue to print when we're switching devices. Alright, so it's starting to print here. Let's go and go to pick printer. It shows that this one is actively printing and this one is idle. So if we go over here, it still has the temperature set to what the targets are, so it's treating it as if it's powered on and idle and ready to go. Then if I go back to pick printer, it still shows it printing. So that's nice. You can actually control multiple devices, have them all printing at the same time, all controlled by the same device. And there are some issues with Octoprint and trying to do that with using a single device. So that's really a nice feature that this one has. In order to connect to the SonicPad remotely, you're going to need the IP address. So there's two ways you can get it. First one being going into your router, finding the device and getting it that way. Or if you're actually on the SonicPad, just go over to configure, go to network settings, wireless network, or whatever you're connected to, and it will give you the IP address right there. So then we'll use that IP address when we go and connect to it from the computer. Alright guys, in order to get to the web interface, we want to go and open a browser, which I just did, and then go to the IP address, which I just showed you how to get, 192.168.1.62. Now, it is important to note here that it does not work with HTTPS. You'll get a connection refused. I'm going to show you real quick. There is no cert or anything on there. It's really just a unauthenticated connection, because you saw here as soon as I connected, it just went ahead and brought me into the interface, and it signed me in as trusted user, and I haven't found a way to change that. So if you're looking for any type of RBAC or just access control, there really isn't any, but as long as you're on the same network as the device, you can get to it and make changes. So there's just a couple things I wanted to show you here. Firstly, all of your settings are going to be under manage accounts, so you can see your printers, change your printer names, all of that, the stopping, and then going down to some of the extensions that are tied to this, and then some control features like inverting X and Y axis, that kind of stuff, and then some of your camera settings are down here as well. I will be making another video covering how to connect a camera to this, so that'll be coming up pretty soon. The other thing here up top is if you click on that, you've got your different devices here. So you got the SonicPad itself, or you have the printers that you have connected. So in this video, I connected the Ender 3 Pro with the CR Touch, then I had the V2 connected before. So we'll just go ahead and go to this one. And then a couple things on the main screen here is you have your console output, so you can send commands here, like if you wanted to get their current location, I'll just do M114, and then it gives you the current location of the nozzle. Some macros, which you can use to do pauses, that kind of stuff, and cancel your print or run a mesh. You can modify all of this as well. I'm just trying to go over some of the basics here. Auto home and basic control of the hot end and all of that here. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you have your printer limits, which is going to be your speed and everything. They're all set to max, which is default for a clipper. And then your file list. So this is the calibration cube that I sliced in the previous video. So I can send this to either one of the printers. I can also go ahead and preheat and just edit it, that kind of stuff as well. But if you have additional G-code files you want to send to it, you can just drop them here instead of going on the device and searching for them. Another cool thing here is the G-code preview. So you can go and click on this and go to preview. That will bring it down here, and you can see what it would look like on each layer. So you can kind of see it building up, current layers versus total layers, and then how far it is at that point. So just a neat little feature here if you're trying to look for any issues with the slice or anything like that. All right, next we have a larger console output. It's just the same as this one over here, just full screen. And then we have the file list, which I was just showing you as well. It just provides a little bit more detail. A lot of the stuff you can just get from the main page, which is where I typically am, just at the home. Then you can have your print history in here as well between the printers. And then once you have a camera connected, you can do time-lapse videos, and all of that can be here. That'll be covered in a separate video. But it is a nice little feature. And then here's a example of the mesh. If you ran the mesh for the setup, this would be what the output is. You can go ahead and run a new one from here as well. If you remember when I was adding the Ender 3 Pro with the CR Touch, I was going through the setup pretty quickly, so I knew it was going to be an awful mesh. But here it shows you what it looks like. Ideally, you want this to be as close to 0 as possible. This is a great example of what you don't want. And then you can get to some of the configuration files. This gets into a little bit more complex settings, so I'm not going to go into that too much in this video because this is really just getting started. If you want to see more about configuration files or log files, just let me know in the comment below. And then here is just some general information about the system. So your load, the clipper load, really it's just monitoring system utilization, so CPU, memory, etc. And then you have the settings down here as well, which is the same as going up here and manage accounts. So you have some options in here. I don't think you'll be in here too often, to be honest, maybe setting up the camera, but that's probably going to be it for the most part. So that really covers the web interface. It's pretty nice to be able to connect remotely. It does replace a lot of what Octoprint can do. So if you were looking at setting up Octoprint, this is a good option for it. There are some limitations. There aren't as many plugins. You don't have the role-based access control or anything like that. So it really depends what you're looking for. But I think for most people, this will meet the needs just fine. Alright, so that shows you how to add additional printers to your SonicPad and connect to it remotely from your computer. Overall, the process is pretty simple. SonicPad does make it pretty seamless, which is quite nice. I will be making another video covering how to add a webcam and control that and do some time-lapse videos with it. That'll be coming up after probably a video or two on a 10-watt laser that I just picked up. If you have any questions about what I covered or like to see anything else, go and leave a comment below or join us on Discord. Thanks.